The last part of section P7 works with solving quadratic equations, and there are several methods that I want you to be able to use. One of them is factoring, and that'll be the first one we talk about. There's a square root property I want you to be able to use, completing the square, and of course our good old standby, the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula, of course, can be used, always be used to solve quadratic equations, but some of these other methods are faster, and so I recommend you use those if they apply. We're going to start with solving by factoring. So I want to look at checkpoint 7 to use that as an example. Here we have an equation, quadratic equation. It's a quadratic equation because x is raised to the power of 2, and we want to solve for x. And if we can factor it, we should try, because that's a pretty easy way to solve a quadratic equation. So it looks like we can factor this. The greatest common factor looks like we can take out, there's a 3 as well as an x. We'll take out the 3x and we'd be left with an x and minus 3 equals 0. Okay, at this point, it's pretty easy to solve. In the book, they discuss what they call the zero product principle, which states if a, b, in other words, a times b, two numbers multiplied together give 0, then that means that a equals 0 or b equals 0. They could both be equal to 0, but one or the other. Here we have actually three things multiplied together. We have a 3, and you can extend this property to more than two things multiplied. We have an x, and we have x minus 3 is the other thing. 3 is never going to be 0, no matter what you put in for x. But x could be 0. So according to this property, x is equal to 0, or x minus 3 could be equal to 0. And if you solve this equation, you don't need to really do any solving here. Add 3 to both sides, you get x equals 3. So your answer would be x equals 0 or x equals 3. Either one of those numbers will solve that quadratic equation. One more example on that. This is not in you want to when you're solving these quadratic equations, get 0 on one side. So I'm going to start by subtracting 1 from both sides to put it in this form. And at least for this method, when we're factoring, as well as a quadratic formula, you want to do this. Now we try to factor this. Let's use our method with the a times c. So 2 times -1, we get -2. Now we need to find two factors of -2 that will add to give +1. Let's try, how about -1 and 2, I think will work. So let's rewrite this as 2x squared and take this term x as minus x plus 2x. You add those two, you get x, then minus 1 equals 0. We'll group those two together, group these two together, and go from here. Here we have an x in common. We'll factor the x out, and we get 2x minus 1 left. And here, I guess we could just say plus 1 times 2x minus 1 so that we can finish this factoring here. Now we could write this as x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. Using the zero product principle that we used up above, we get two equations, and I'll finish up here. We get x plus 1 equals 0, and the other one we get is 2x minus 1 equals 0. So you need to solve both of those. In this case, you subtract 1, you get x equals -1. In this case, let's add 1 to both sides. We get 2x equals 1. Divide by 2, and you get x equals 1/2. So your answer would be x is equal to -1 or x equals 1/2. Either one of those numbers should work in this quadratic equation.